video, we're going to talk about how to manage while using Drawbridge. The first thing you're going to want to do when you clock in, even though you're not working as a game master or a game host, you're still going to want to sign in. And the reason for this is when you sign in, these buttons will appear here to show your escape rate, your number of resets, how many rebookings you've gotten, and how many review mentions you have. While this might not be important for you as a manager, when you click on this, you can see the metrics for all of your employees for the day. So you can keep track of how everybody's doing from here. We have some more metrics over here, your hours per game right here. You'll be able to see who is in charge and who ends up replacing whoever's in charge later on. You can see who's currently clocked in versus who's scheduled. You can also see who's late by if they're highlighted with red. And you can see the total number of hours worked throughout the day. Next, you can see how many games are scheduled for today, your current games versus games that are coming up later on. Your total number of games will be listed out here. If there are any numbers beneath this ghost, that means that you have a no-show. This one means that a game has canceled. And you can see your total numbers of players versus your revenue. This on-time metric tells you how you're doing within the last 90 minutes on time. You can see when games were scheduled to start versus when they were actually started, and whether you're ahead of time or running a little bit behind. This game's paused will be clickable, and you'll be able to see more information about if a game was paused, who paused it, and for how long from here. The same thing for the time added. You'll be able to see how much time was added and who added the time. You can see any reset errors that have been logged from this metric right here. And this will show us any maintenance repairs that need to be done in rooms. You'll see that by the overview, we have a speaker here. You'll be able to hear alerts throughout the game as they run, but you can mute those here by pressing the speaker. You'll get alerts for things like games starting and games ending and hints being requested. So when these cards light up as purple, that means the game has started. When they're green, it means the group has succeeded and escaped. When it's red, it means they've failed and they're out of time. When it's yellow, it means they've requested a hint. And when it's blue, it means the game is about to escape. You can see our groups or our games are divided into active versus idle. Active games are any games that are currently in and they have their time running, or their prologue. And idle games are everything else. This can be rooms that need resets, or just games that aren't in currently. Another important page to keep an eye on is the lobby. We can see all our lobby cameras from Drawbridge. So you can scroll through, see what you need to see throughout the venue. You'll also want to keep an eye on the hosting page. The hosting page will let us know what games are upcoming in the next 90 minutes and what games need resets so that we can stay on track throughout the day. We also have a sidebar menu that has a lot of different information in it. The first one we'll go over is the Hall of Fame. Here you can see the fastest groups in all of your games in all time and then within the last 30 days. These are just going to be games that have been run through Drawbridge. Next is game statistics. From here you can see your hardest games, your hardest objectives, your most used hints, your best hints, your worst hints, anytime answers were sent, and things like that. We also have some staff reports, things like birthdays and anniversaries for our staff. There is a leaderboard for staff as well. You can see Google reviews, rebookings, and this page, if you leave it alone, will scroll itself. So you can put this on a screen in your control room and have it available for everybody to see throughout the shift. We also have reset times here. These are our resets that were timed through Drawbridge in the last 4 weeks. You'll be able to see that if it's red, it means it went over the allotted amount of time that we give for that reset to be completed in. We also have our handyman punch list. Here, when our handymen fix anything in the venue, they can mark it as fixed. We also have our change log in this side menu if you want to see any changes that have been released in Drawbridge since your last shift, stay up to date. Also at the top up here we have notifications. If there are any story issues recorded in a game, you can see those here. You can also see game resets and how long they're taking on your shift. You can mark these as red with the I button, and that will make the little dot go away there. You can also check them off or clear them out and say that you've read them. From this overview screen, you'll also be able to see what games are currently being reset and timed for their resets based on this clock right here. So when it's green and the hands are moving, that means that somebody is timing their reset. If they decide to pause for any reason, by pressing the hint button, it will turn red and it'll pause that clock. So that way you know that they are not currently in their resetting. And then when they press the hint button again to resume their reset, it'll start moving again.